Yo, what's good? This is my review of top tier Providence, or I googled it and Google was like, it's also called Lucky Me. I secretly cultivated for 1,000 years. So first and foremost, um, there's like 266 chapters. I read it for like what, like 3 days, 4 days straight. You know, I'll do my thing, and then when I wanted to recharge, I'll read. First and foremost, I definitely have to say top tier Providence. Um, I give it like a 7, 8, just because I'm pretty satisfied. The unfortunate thing with cultivation slop, you know, I really aim for the ones that have a shit ton of chapters because I read through it and I never go back. You know, I never go back. I mean, maybe if it's updated every single day, but for the most part, I don't keep up each and every single week because, um, like, I don't really feel a cliffhanger, man. As the days go by, the memories disappear. It starts to blur. The thing with like slop comics, the thing with like the slop stories is they're so yummy to binge. But like in terms of waiting a week, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And the issue with them is that even rereading them is also like I've been here before, because I literally been here before in countless other stories, just different names, different cultivation realms. So I still eat it up though, but like there has yet to be one that I like will reread. Even like one of my favorite ones, which is like I Am the Fated Villain. I have not gone back and reread it, or nor have I you know read up to date. I haven't bothered. I just don't care enough. I love it, but I just don't care enough. I'd rather binge read all in one shot. The pros, I would say the pros is that it goes pretty deep. I think so. The last chapter I read was 266. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but I mean, at this point, his lifespan is like 1 billion. Um, for the most part, the story of Top Tier Providence is a comedy, but there are some moments that there is a seriousness, especially when it comes to the drawbacks of becoming immortal and having a long lifespan. There's even like hints, especially the part where you see some characters that he knew from the start and the MC just simply outgrew them. By that I mean they died of old age because the MC has gotten, like, he's become thousands of years old and their talent isn't suffice enough, and so they die because they just couldn't keep progressing at the same pace. So there's like these moments where there's like a seriousness where I'm like, like a lot of stories don't dive too deep into that, about like sort of like the hurt and the pain of being on this immortal path. Like even if you have a lover, um, someone you care about, if they don't possess the same amount of talent as you, they can't continue on the journey with you. So there's that, and there's like these hints of like, of this stuff, right? Um, but for the most part, it's sort of like a comedy. I guess the biggest drawback is for me personally. I mean, I kind of hate herbivore stories where the person is going extra mile, super out of their way just to not stand out, which to me is kind of weird. Like, I mean, if you're just doing things normally, sure, but then to go out of your way to not stand out, I'm like, ugh. Too many stories are like that. I'm like, taking the extra mile to not stand out, bro. Like at that point, you need therapy or something. Like if you're doing all that extra stuff, like if you're indifferent about standing out, that's one thing. But to purposely not stand out, that's weird. You know what I mean? Like to go out of your way to ensure something, that's weird. But it is what it is. But I would say for the most part, though, the story's fine. The MC doesn't ascend. He just stays in the same place. Um, the sect kind of goes up and gets better and whatnot, but it's still like a minor part. The other part that's kind of weird for me is like romance. Man, like for me personally, when it comes to romance in stories, like if you're not gonna dive into it, why bother introducing it? You know, like if one thing that I never understood is you have an MC that runs away from the opposite sex, right? Why bother having the opposite sex in the story as a love interest, sort of, you know, or as even a romantic interest or whatever, right? Why bother with that? It's weird. Like if they're reeling and they're running away from sexual chemistry, that's weird. It's like why bother? Why bother? Makes no sense. I guess the other thing that's also kind of weird is like the MC has like is somehow it's like, you know, you read like Japanese stories and the MC like runs away from the sex or the romantic interest thrown at them and they're like, ah. Well, the thing with this story that kind of is like, what the fuck is going on? This person has lived thousands of years, has a girl. Of course, they have like romantic relationship, you know, full romantic, right? You know, everything, sealing the deal and whatnot. But this dude is still like, like sex, ew, ew, which is so fucking weird. Like, and which is the other weird part is like sometimes the stories like they went at it for a month, they went at it for 6 months, a year, nonstop, right? Because I guess I don't know, maybe they're in like a trance state. I don't fucking know. But the thing to me though is why the hell is he still like, oh my girlfriend, ew, or like, oh she wants to kiss me, and runs away and is like weird about it. To me, that's so weird. That's like you're like forcing a trope for the sake of it when it makes no cognitive sense. Oh, that's just how these Japanese stories do it. But it's like, yeah, it makes zero sense. This dude is literally thousands of years old. Thousands. Why is he still acting like that? You know, it's to me, it's like then at that point, don't even bother. Right? What's the plot, bro? The plot is simple. There really is no other plot other than continue cultivating. That's the whole plot. You know, all these cultivation stories. I still eat it up because the plot is the same. It's cultivate. That's the main story. Everything else is a side story. But so I mean, this guy just wants to cultivate, and trouble keeps happening and whatnot. But I mean, it's pretty cool. I will say though, from like chapter 0 to all the way to the last chapter that I read, which is 266. Like the MC of Top Tier Providence, from like the first chapter all the way to the most recent chapter I read, which is at the time of this video, which is 266. This dude becomes pretty powerful. Like I like reading it just for that. Like, I mean, like he's still pretty weak in the grand scheme of things, but he becomes the god of his world and whatnot. And you know, that's satisfying enough to like end things off there. Like compared to like some manga and whatnot, they would still be like, you know, nowhere near that deep into achievement. But he's made some pretty good achievement. And I mean, I don't even remember his name, but Not bad. I think it's definitely worth a read. I gave it like a 7 to 8. The I mean, you could definitely Google it, but the scans, the translation team did a decent job, and the thing isn't super pixelated. So to me, that's a 7, 8, man. Like sometimes, bro, like there's one I've been wanting to read so bad, because it has like 800 chapters. Um, like don't get me wrong, I like to read the novels too, but it's I've been reading like the webtoons, like the manhwas. But bro, this one has like 800 chapters, but the scans are so shitty, and sometimes it's like machine translated, and I feel like I'm getting a lobotomy reading it because it's the grammar is so like But I've been powering through though. Once I run out, I will go back. Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. Once I power through, but I mean, ultimately though, see, my only issue with the real cultivation novels though is that eventually I can't follow. Like eventually I need like a glossary. You know, once I get too deep and if I take a little break, I can't follow anymore, or I can't keep track of what's going on and who they're referencing, or even the power levels, or I get lost in the sauce and I'm too overwhelmed, or there's too many abilities and I forgot to keep track, and I'm like, yo, what the like sometimes like when I'm reading the novels, there's too many abilities that I already forgot the description of, and now I can't imagine it in my head, and I don't really know what's going on because I have to go back and figure out and get that description again for the abilities because I already forgot it. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. I definitely recommend top tier Providence, or if you want to Google it again, it's Lucky Me. I secretly cultivated for 1,000 years. I give it like a 7, 8. Definitely some nice, yummy cultivation slop. That's it. Bye.